Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. Hope everyone is doing well. This is going to be a late night upload. I gotta say, I've been going through it lately. The NHL playoffs just started. That means the game's going late at night. Star Wars Celebration Japan also completely messed up my sleep schedule, and for the past 3 days, my kids have had me up at 6 a.m. So I just feel like I am hitting a real wall. That's why my uploads have been slowing down a little bit, but with Star Wars Celebration over, I wanted to at least pop in and do a vibe check. So a bit of a rambly one. I hope you enjoy. Overall, how am I feeling about Star Wars Celebration? I mean, I don't know. This is basically all the Star Wars news we've got for the next couple of years. There's no celebration in 2026. So while some of the surprises were nice, especially Star Wars Starfighter, that has me really excited. Overall, I'd say I was waiting for something to blow me away, and it just never really happened. We'll come back to that, but yes, on that note, the next celebration is 2027. It will be in Los Angeles. No guarantees, but I'm going to try to get to that one. I've wanted to go to Star Wars Celebration my entire life. I've never had the opportunity to do so. Also just want to see a bunch of you guys. So 2027, I'm going to make a real effort to get down to California. Hopefully the channel's still bumping by then and it's possible, but we'll see. Either way, I think before we get to the far future projects, the announcements, stuff like that, we should talk about the Star Wars project days away from releasing. And I'm talking, of course, Andor. Andor releases on Tuesday, and we've got now the first social media impressions of the second season, and they've been extremely positive. Now, for those who don't know, Disney does provide review screeners to outlets, YouTubers, journalists. Usually there's an embargo date for the full review and also one for brief social media impressions, i.e., just generally whether you liked the show or not without going into specifics. There is sort of a bit of self-selection here because typically the people who do social media reactions are more positive, but I also was surprised to hear that they gave the entire second season of Andor 4 reviews right off the bat. That shows a lot of confidence in their product. I will admit, on a personal side, I'm extremely frustrated because for whatever reason, I've been cut out of the review process. For years, I was reviewing Star Wars stuff, and getting the advanced screeners makes it a lot more possible to develop content in advance. For some reason, I've been completely kicked out of the program. They aren't really responding to my emails, and it's going to be tough with Andor because they're releasing essentially a movie a week, 3 episodes. Either way, that notwithstanding, I'm very excited for the show. Expect lots and lots of coverage on the channel here. Moving on, in my day one breakdown of Star Wars Celebration, I already gave my thoughts on Star Wars Starfighter, the newly announced film coming in a couple of years, as well as the Mandalorian and Grogu's new trailer, so I'm not going to retread that territory here. What I do want to talk about, however, is Ahsoka, and we got a pretty detailed Season 2 panel, including, although it wasn't broadcast, a teaser trailer made out of concept art, which was fairly unique. You can find it on r/Star Wars Leaks, and I'll get to that in a second. But what was confirmed publicly was the recast of Baylan Skoll, who will now be played by Rory McCann. They may have officially announced the recast earlier, I can't remember, but we got to see an actual look at Rory as Baylan, and honestly, I think he will be spectacular in the role. Ray Stevenson obviously brought a pretty cool stoic strength to the role that I don't think anyone will be able to match exactly, but Rory should be able to do something pretty cool with the character. Now, the teaser is very interesting. They show a lot, including Ahsoka tracking Baylan through his journey across Peridea. She encounters massive machines said to be from some dark history, and it hints at some big confrontation in not just the Star Wars galaxy, where Thrawn will be facing off against the New Republic, but also the other galaxy. You know, the rumor, which I think is becoming more likely, is that we will see Abeloth in the show. I put a tweet out that I think deserves more elaboration in the future. It's crazy how many people have an opinion on Abeloth, whether negative or positive, without ever actually engaging in the material she's from. Abeloth is from Fate of the Jedi. Most people only know Abeloth through the Star Wars wiki page or Star Wars lore YouTubers. Fate of the Jedi gets no actual discussion outside of the character of Abeloth being a thing. There's a lot of nuance to the character. I will be covering Fate of the Jedi extensively in the lead up to Ahsoka Season 2, just in case, it does happen, but we'll see. The concept art also did show, I'll note, an E-Wing in combat, so that is very fun. I put a picture of that on my Twitter account. I'm a lot less worried about Disney sending a copyright strike there. Do me a favor and take it down. But One thing that I'm a little disappointed by is the sort of angst across the Star Wars fandom about Ahsoka, especially comparing it to Andor. Like, oh, Andor is this highly intellectual thing, while Ahsoka is fan service slop. I saw this in reference to two announcements. The fact that Anakin will be returning for Ahsoka Season 2, presumably in Force Ghost form, maybe in flashbacks, and also that Admiral Akbar will be facing off against Thrawn. So, Anakin Skywalker is kind of the main character in Star Wars. He's not some glup shitto or some Clone Wars character Dave Filoni is bringing back and inserting into his show. He's kind of a main dude, and I find the complaint that it's lazy or whatever else just not very convincing. Regarding the Akbar Thrawn thing, and the argument is much the same. Oh yeah, of course they're bringing Akbar back. Akbar versus Thrawn is like one of the main conflicts of the Thrawn trilogy. Akbar is a main character in that series, more so than in any other Star Wars book. The novels purposefully pit his intelligence versus Thrawn's intelligence, and it only makes sense that the biggest military mind of the New Republic is facing off, against the biggest military mind of the Empire. So yeah, I find that ridiculous, and I also find the general complaints against Ahsoka not convincing. I'm a defender of the show. I really like that, yes, we do have Star Wars grounded in Andor, but we also have the more mythological Jedi, Force, space adventure style Star Wars of Ahsoka. Moving on, we also got our first look at Zero Company. I don't really know what to say about this game other than it looks great. It's exactly what we thought it would be. Basically, Star Wars XCOM, and I'm very down for that. It's set not in the early Clone Wars as I expected, but rather the late Clone Wars. I'm guessing we may also be diving into the early Imperial era as well. As a side note, the Fortnite stuff also announced looked pretty cool. I'm too old to play most Fortnite events, at least the build mode. I just cannot keep up with Zoomers, but I do hop on no build and I have fun, so I'll be playing that quite a bit next month. Unfortunately, no other video game announcements. That's been the real weak spot of Star Wars for the past few years, quite obviously. Like, people complain about EA's game releases. They've been good. There just haven't been enough of them. The Jedi series, Squadrons, Battlefront, we just need more. Anyway, the last, big announcement was the expansion of the Star Wars Vision series. Not only are we getting Season 3, but it seems like they want to further expand what they do with individual Vision stories. A good example of that is The Ninth Jedi, which is getting a limited series spin-off. So that is very, very cool. I am fully for more creative Star Wars projects like this. I would like to see Star Wars What If, but overall I think it was a fine celebration. Again, the gaming area was a weak spot. Novels as well, also very disappointing. As far as I'm aware, we got no real new publishing news. Kind of surprising given that the High Republic is almost over. Either way, it's going to be pretty thin in terms of Star Wars for the rest of 2025. Next year, however, we'll have Maul Shadowlord, the new show, The Mandalorian and Grogu as a theatrical release, The Ninth Jedi, and Ahsoka Season 2. This year, we've got Andor, Vision Season 3, and I don't think much else. Tales of the Underworld, I guess. Anyway, that's my take on everything. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.